Emirates has built its reputation on the A380, the plane with onboard showers, private first-class suites, and 2 full decks of luxury. They bought nearly half of all the A380s ever built, but now Emirates is quietly doing something radical. This isn't about abandoning the super jumbo. It's about a new strategy that could change the way many global airlines operate. And maybe, just maybe, why that decision actually makes perfect sense. Let's rewind back to June 2000. Emirates was just 15 years old, and they made a bold announcement: an order of 7 new aircraft with options for 5 more of the aircraft, the A3X, soon to be called the A380. Fast forward from that initial purchase decision. Emirates didn't just buy A380s, it staked its entire identity on them. Over the course of almost 2 decades, a staggering 123 A380s were delivered, more than any airline in history. That's nearly half of all 251 A380s ever manufactured. Just think about that dominance for a moment. Of those 123 deliveries, approximately 94 are actively flying routes, while 24 remain parked or in maintenance cycles. The active fleet fluctuates based on seasonal demand and operational needs, but the scale remains staggering. The carrier didn't just buy A380s. Their strategy shaped the construction of Dubai International Airport's Terminal 3 and Concourse A, the ultimate A380 mega-hub specialized gates, huge lounges with a 380-gate access, ground handling systems that could turn around a 500-seat aircraft efficiently. Then came the innovations that ultimately have made Emirates legendary. Emirates installed showers in first class, actual showers at cruising altitude. The airline created the onboard lounge, a bar and social space that became an Instagram sensation before Instagram even existed. Its first-class suites weren't seats. They were private rooms with closing doors, flat-screen TVs, and luxury amenities, rivaling 5-star hotels. This became the Emirates wow factor, transforming flights into bucket list experiences. Passengers booked Emirates specifically to shower at altitude and socialize in a flying bar. Aviation enthusiasts planned trips around Emirates, a 380 route, just to experience those amenities. This wasn't transportation, it was entertainment, luxury hospitality, and an aspirational lifestyle rolled into one aircraft while Emirates built their A380 empire. The rest of aviation moved in a completely different direction. The global shift away from 4-engine aircraft became one of modern aviation's most significant trends. Rising fuel costs made 4 engines uneconomical. Passengers preferred flight frequency, oversized and efficient twin jets like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 offered similar range with lower fuel burn marginal. A380 routes became profitable with twins, which could serve destinations suited to 500 daily passengers. Faced with one A380 flight or 3 smaller ones, passengers chose flexibility. Then came 2020. COVID-19 didn't just change aviation, it accelerated every existing trend, the pandemic. It became the catalyst that pushed airlines to permanently retire their A380 fleets. Air France, China, Southern Malaysia Airlines, and Thai Airways fully retired their A380s by 2022. Lufthansa operates 8 A380s on select. Singapore Airlines flies up to 12 on premium corridors. Both are planning long-term phase-outs. Emirates held on longer than most. President Tim Clark stated, "The airline intends to fly the A380 until around 2040, gradually reducing its 116 aircraft fleet to approximately 50 to 70 by the late 2030s, but even Emirates couldn't ignore fundamental market shifts. However, here's what many overlook: airport slot constraints. The A380. It was designed for increasingly congested airports where airlines needed bigger planes to maximize limited landing slots. If you can only get 1 daily slot at Heathrow, make it a 500-seat aircraft instead of 250. The theory was sound. Reality, though, proved more complex. Airports struggled with the A380's demands. Specialized equipment, longer taxi times, and complex boarding turned efficiency into headaches. Meanwhile, twin jets like their 777X A350 and 787 offered similar capacity with greater flexibility through multiple daily flights and simpler operations. With Emirates shifting to Al Matam Airport in the 2030s, some of the slot pressures Emirates face will ease further, reducing the need for super jumbos. Now for the cold reality of Emirates, a 380 situation. This isn't just about market preference, it's about aircraft lifecycle management and tough financial decisions even before the pandemic. Emirates grounded 2 aircraft due for major overhaul, using them as parts donors. Aircraft less than 15 years old being scrapped for parts in commercial aviation, that's practically brand new. Emirates has been selectively managing their A380 fleet since it cannot get newly built aircraft. But here's what matters for the timeline ahead. Emirates' comprehensive retrofit program. It's been expanded significantly beyond original plans, covering 110 A380s. This modernization effort is expected to be completed in a couple of years' time. Some of the oldest A380s. They could be stripped to provide spare parts for the active fleet, ensuring continued operations while maintaining maintenance costs. What is the real challenge? Maintenance complexity when production ends. Everything changes for aircraft operators. Suddenly, every specialized component becomes a limited resource. This is particularly challenging for airframe-specific components, landing gear assemblies, flight control surfaces, cabin components unique to the A380. The A380 has more than 4 million individual parts, advanced fly-by-wire systems, complex hydraulic networks requiring specialized expertise as fleets age and technicians retire. Emirates faces a knowledge retention problem. The expertise needed to maintain these aircraft is literally walking out the door. As aircraft age, component maintenance becomes more complex, parts become harder and more expensive to obtain, making the donor aircraft strategy increasingly critical for cost management. A 380 size creates logistical nightmares. When an A380 needs major maintenance, it occupies hangar space that could accommodate 2 or 3 smaller aircraft. The opportunity cost becomes enormous. Smart money says they're choosing evolution. What is Emirates? Replacing their A380s with the answer reveals a complete philosophical shift in network planning and passenger service. Emirates has placed massive orders, focusing on 3 key aircraft types. First, the Airbus A350-900. The airline took delivery of its first A350 in late 2024, with inaugural passenger flight on January 3, 2025. The 65th and final delivery should be made before the end of 2028. Second, the Boeing 787 family. Emirates strategically skipped the 787-9 due to its overlap with the A350-900's capacity and range. Instead, they opted for 2 787-8s for long-range operations and 1 578-710s for high-capacity, medium-hauled route. Third, the Boeing 777X, with deliveries expected in 2026 or even early 2027. Emirates has ordered 205 of these next-generation twin-engine wide-bodies, 177-77-9 and 357-778. Here's where the strategy gets fascinating. The 777X represents a different approach to luxury compared to the A380 signature amenities. Unlike the A380's onboard showers and fully dedicated lounge bar, the 777X will focus on enhanced individual luxury within space. Constraints First Class will feature fully enclosed private suites with closing doors, zero-gravity seats, and extra-large personal entertainment screens. Business Class will include lie-flat seats and a smaller social area, but nothing approaching the standalone bar experience of the A380's onboard lounge. This shift, it represents the industry's move toward personal luxury over communal experiences. The truth is, this fleet transformation, it reflects both strategic vision and operational complexity. Emirates now operates around 250 aircraft, and it'll expand to well over 300 aircraft. Likely a lot more when new deliveries and aircraft retirements are taken into consideration. However, there's a challenge with Emirates' current fleet. Most of their 777s feature below-average angled flat seats that lag behind competitors' offerings. Only 20 of the 71 plans. 777 retrofits have been completed by March 31, 2025, due to supply delays, the 777X and A350. They aim to restore the Emirates Wow Factor Business Class, featuring the latest bells and whistles. This diverse fleet raises maintenance and training costs, but suits are huge. Airline route-specific needs. The airline is transitioning from hub and spoke dominance, relying on sheer size to point-to-point flexibility. These new aircraft deliver nearly everything the A380 offered, but in a more flexible, efficient package. Lower trip costs make routes viable. That would be far too large for an A380. While greater flexibility opens destinations that could never support 500 daily passengers for Emirates, the A350 marks a clear strategic shift. All 65 A350-900s on order will omit first class instead, seating 298 to 315 passengers in business, premium economy, and economy. This breaks from Emirates' traditional first-class dominance and risks, losing some top-tier passengers to rivals. It also produces product inconsistency. A traveler flying, say, London, the Sydney might enjoy first class on one leg, only to find it missing on the A350 connection. Still, the move reflects reality. Business class today offers much of the luxury once reserved for first and the A350's lower operating costs. They transform marginal route into highly profitable ones. There is also another caveat. The first 15 A350s, they'll lack crew, rest areas limiting them to flights under 12 hours later deliveries. Equipped for crew rest will unlock Emirates' full, ultra-long-haul ambitions. The old model was fewer flights, bigger planes, Manchester to Bangkok via Dubai on massive aircraft with hundreds of passengers, maximum efficiency, and moving large numbers of people. The new model is more flights, right-sized planes instead of one daily. A 380 Emirates can offer multiple daily flights on A350s or 777Xs. More scheduling flexibility while maintaining profitable load factors. But the real strategic shift is route development, A350 and 787s. They allow Emirates to serve secondary cities. They could never support a 380 service. Edinburgh, Zagreb, cities in Africa, like Lusaka or Hara markets supporting 250 to 300 passengers per day, perfect for A350s. These medium-demand markets, they represent huge growth opportunities, completely inaccessible with the 380s. Meanwhile, Fly Dubai serves secondary cities with narrow bodies and plans, long-haul expansion with 37879 with delivery starting from 2026. This flexible fleet strategy aligns perfectly with Dubai's aviation infrastructure future. Emirates will fully migrate operations from Dubai International Airport, DXB, to AL International Airport, DWC, in the 2030s. Following the completion of DWC's first expansion phase, the migration will occur in a swift move to minimize disruptions. Once DWC is fully operational, the first expansion phase will enable DWC to handle 150 million passengers annually, scaling to 260 million passengers and 12 tons of cargo in later phases, potentially into the 2050s. DWC's 5 parallel runways and vast capacity eliminate DXB's slot constraints, which began around 2010 due to explosive growth. And forced reliance on high-density A380 routes. DWC will enable Emirates to offer greater flight frequency and open new destinations suitable for 250 to 300-seat aircraft, but previously inaccessible to A380s. However, DWC's capacity, it won't ease slot constraints at hubs like London Heathrow, where A380s will likely remain until retirement. Turkish Airlines proved that this airport transformation strategy works spectacularly, completing the great move from Ataturk Airport to Istanbul Airport in just 33 hours in April 2019, showing how a modern, high-capacity airport enabled their network expansion with more flexible aircraft. Mirroring Emirates' DWC strategy, multiple daily flights to key business centers, direct services to previously underserved cities. DWC's scale means operating slightly smaller aircraft becomes a non-issue. Instead, it empowers Emirates with unparalleled operational agility. Emirates didn't make this decision in isolation. It's facing intense competitive pressure from airlines that transitioned to twin engines years ago. Consider the rivalry. Qatar Airways built one of the world's most modern fleets, centered around A350s and 787s, and recently ordered another 37779s in May 2025. Its cost per seat mile is consistently lower, allowing aggressive ticket pricing. Singapore Airlines, the gold standard for premium service. It's been rapidly transitioning to A350s and 787s, giving it an edge on longer, thinner routes that an Emirates A380 may not want to. Toucher Clark has openly admitted that relying too heavily on A380's limited network expansion. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about competitive survival. The airline couldn't risk being stuck with an outdated, inflexible fleet while rivals adapted to changing market conditions. The A380 might offer unmatched luxury, but luxury doesn't matter if you can't compete on route frequencies or fares. There's something poetic about Emirates taking delivery of the very last A380 in 2021. It wasn't just another airplane, it was the final chapter of aviation history. That ceremony, it felt like a funeral for the super jumbo era, with Airbus executives, Emirates leaders, and aviation enthusiasts. Watching the end of the world's largest passenger jet program, but Emirates hasn't abandoned the A380. It still flies on flagship route, where 500-plus seats can reliably be filled, and it has to Dubai International's infrastructure. It's built around the A380 custom gates, lounges, and ground. Represents billions in sunk costs. Retiring the fleet overnight, it would mean stranding that investment. So Emirates is phasing the aircraft out carefully. Keep it where it works. Avoid expanding it to new destinations and let new twin-engine jets grow the network. A graceful exit strategy that honors the A380's legacy while preparing for a post-super jumbo future. In fact, it reflects a broader shift in aviation from maximum scale. The silence of those giant engines, the space. The sheer presence of aviation's gentle giant. If not, your chance is running out.